Our pet dogs are environmental villains? What? Mother Jones, a left-leaning magazine that focuses predominantly on environment and human rights issues, republished an article from The Guardian that says pet dogs have extensive and multivarious impacts on the environment, new research finds. Mother Jones titled the story as "Bad News for Man's Best Friend, Dogs Are Environmental Villains." Ugh.
The Guardian story was based on an Australian review, blame the Australians, published in the Pacific Conservation Biology journal that argues, as the commonest large carnivore in the world, the environmental impacts of owned dogs are extensive and multifarious. They are implicated in direct killing and disturbance of multiple species, particularly shorebirds, but also their mere presence, even when leashed, can disturb birds and mammals, causing them to leave areas where dogs are exercised. Who would have guessed that? It further writes, quote, "Feces and urine can transfer zoonoses to wildlife and, when accumulated, can pollute waterways and impact plant growth. Finally, the sheer number of dogs contributes to global carbon emissions and land and fresh water use via the pet food industry." Social media, not surprisingly, had a blast with this new study. The Young Turks co-host and executive producer Anna Kasparian wrote on X, "Is there any enjoyable part of life these insufferable killjoys won't attack?"
Meanwhile, contributing editor at The Spectator, Stephen Miller, wrote on X, "Well, I guess when you need to find another 80-20 issue to get behind, this is what you decide to do." And president of the Brownstone Institute, Jeffrey A. Tucker, also chimed in, writing on X, "Among many strange agendas revealed in the COVID period was an attack on pets, dogs in particular. Fauci hinted at their abolition in August 2020 on grounds that they are disease spreaders. I knew this was coming." So I think the direct line between Fauci, actually there is before you roll your eyes too much, we have had on the show, Ryan Grimm was a big fan of this organization, the White Coat Waste Project, because he does not like animal cruelty, and we interviewed guests from this organization in the past that criticized Dr. Fauci for his advocacy of unnecessary experimentation that was harming dogs. So that's not even a weird right-wing attack on Fauci. There's respectable leftist people who didn't like Fauci specifically because of harm to dog stuff. I kid you not.
I take you at your word. I will say there have been so many weird right-wing attacks on Fauci that is why I tend to roll my eyes when he is blamed for attacks upon dogs or whatever. Look, this survey seems pretty ridiculous. I mean, some of the findings that they have produced are just extraordinary statements of the obvious. Dogs apparently scare off birds if they're running around, which I'm glad we have a group of Australian scientists to study that. There was also a finding which we didn't quote, which did amuse me greatly, because it noted that dog feces carry scent traces. So again, the enormous research.
Is that a way of saying shit smells?
It is indeed. That is exactly the statement, and I'm glad that we have discovered that via the wonders of scientific research.
Oh, it's like I don't know. It's one of those things. It reminds me, like, okay, everything causes negative health consequences because we all die in the long run.
This is true.
Like, you could have if humans didn't, humans are the disease. There's no humans. There'd just be plants everywhere. But we are ourselves animals, and we have the right to influence our environment.
Yep.
And human beings have decided that dogs have more objective value than like a worm. So I like birds too. Bird watching is fun. I actually play a board game called Wingspan that is bird themed, that I've learned a lot about.
You play so many board games. I'm always fascinated by another excursion into your board game life.
I actually play, there's an app for this one. I play it online with my brother every day.
Okay. Excellent.
So I value birds as well, but we have the right. Man is the master of his domain.
Yes.
We have the right to shape the world to in accordance with what we think is better for artistic merit, for spiritual and emotional and psychological merit. Dogs have merit because they are loyal and trustworthy, and they love human beings, and they have served a socio-biological function over the span of time, going back to when prehistoric man benefited from having dogs in their midst because the dog barks loudly when you have a predator coming or a rival tribe or something. It was they provided that service for us. In exchange, they were fed and cared for and loved. And so over time, wolves have evolved into cute, adorable, wonderful dogs. It's kind of, there's something inspiring about it, that what was most to the species comparative advantage in like a brutalist capitalist sense was to become cuter and fluffier. I find something beautiful about that.
There is something beautiful about it, and I am not going to get myself pinned into the anti-dog seat here.
Good.
I mean, I think dogs are delightful, and I think they do. I mean, we're having a good time with this absurd story in a way. But, therapy animals and so on. I mean, dogs can serve a really socially useful function. I also think in terms of that reporting, the idea that which seems to be implicit in it, that there is an environmental impact on carnivorous animals being carnivorous. Like, obviously, if a dog eats something, that other creature ceases to exist. That's literally how nature works. I had some steak yesterday. I have had an environmental impact on whatever cow that originally was, before it was slaughtered. So the idea that there's some environmental impact that is appalling here is kind of weird.
Yeah, that was just very, very strange. The one negative note I will sound on some aspect of the dog issue is these pit bull attacks, man, are really terrifying.
They are
to see
terrible,
videos of them.
Yeah.
This species poses real dangers and hazards to neighbors, to children, and some people who tend to own them don't take good care of them at all, and that is something to be watched out for.
No, it is, and I mean, like any animal, there's some species and some forms of breeding that create real dangers. That's an entirely different thing from having a research paper that notes that dogs scare birds if they're running around. That seems pretty self-evident.
I had two little wonderful Yorkies. Love them very much. Beautiful, beautiful breed.
It is. I had one at one point. But
beautiful. All right. Well, Amber is, I believe, a cat person, so maybe you should go back over this on Friday.
I'll have to be the pro-dog person then on Friday.
That does it for us today on Rising. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any of our content. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we're now available anywhere you listen to podcasts. See you later.